Thank you for being here. It's me, Ari Dosset, or as you already know me, Rashid. In this class, I want to talk about a method that society is using on the crowd that's very, very disturbing. Well, the title of this slide already tells you what this method is. And this method is very sadistic, and this method cannot be justified under any circumstance. But it's a type of collective abuse that most people just put up with. Now let's go through it for a moment, okay? And thank you all who report themselves in live chat. Blessed Rosetta is here, Masa is here, Suzanne is here, and Ninja Viking is here. Look, the human being is a spirit being with a soul inhabiting a physical body. The physical body is fragile and weak. And besides that, our bodies in this current age are mortal. So that means that if it goes very wrong with the body will deactivate. The body will deactivate anyway one day, but if the body is in a very bad condition due to sickness or disease or due to neglect, the body will deactivate earlier. We know that. So it is very important for us. It's of extremely utmost importance that we have physical safety. And physical safety includes that your body receives the proper care, not only by yourself, but also by the community. You need a certain amount of hours of sleep for your body to recover. Now, children need more sleep than adults in general, even though it depends on the type of season you're in as an adult. If you just came out of a stressful environment as an adult, you may need more sleep to recover. Now, some people say that we need 6 hours of sleep. Others say we need 10 hours of sleep. Well, depending on the circumstance, of course. If you want to know more about this, go to a physician. They are able to tell you more about it in more detail because they're specialized in it. I'm not. Just know, just understand that having sufficient sleep is a key need of every human being. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you have on the bank account. I don't care what your background is. Every human being needs sufficient physical sleep. We all do. Because if you don't have enough sufficient physical sleep, your moods will go down, your cognitive abilities will go down, and you won't be able to function properly in daily life. And if you're driving a car or you're in traffic, it may even cause deadly accidents. So having sufficient sleep is important. Now think about this. A lot of people go to work with their car. Okay, so you should expect that the employers care enough about the sleep patterns of their, about the sleep habits of their staff members. You would think that the work hours are divided in such a way that everyone gets sufficient sleep at home. Well, no, it's not. People are under stress during the day, at all the stress during the day. At work, all that pressure during the day that you have to perform or else you're fired is going to affect how you sleep because stress has a bad effect on your sleep hormones. And so a lot of adults have a disrupted sleep habit, which causes them to remain in a cycle of exhaustion. In a cycle of exhaustion, you will likely develop diseases or you may end up in accidents. In a cycle of exhaustion, you can't think properly. So now ask yourself the following. Please do not come with comments that are not related to the topic, please. I'm talking to Days of Noah here. Now, let me continue. Just think about it. The fact that every human being needs sufficient sleep, and the fact that the corporate world doesn't care about you having sufficient sleep, that alone is a big red flag. It is. But a lot of people simply do not want to hear about this. They don't. Why? Because if you admit that your leaders, as well as the ones you have to go to work to every day, well, almost every day except on weekends, but almost on a daily basis, that they are not interested in your sleep pattern, that should show you that they are sadistic. But people won't talk about this because this elephant in the room they want to talk about. Sleep deprivation Sleep deprivation is a tool used by cult leaders to keep you drained so you're not able to fight back and see you're being taken advantage of. So when we see sleep deprivation being a common thing in a community, then we know that community is being oppressed. Now, question. If people do not want to admit that they are being statistically abused, if people don't even want to talk about it, then I'm telling you, you're in a cult. You are in a cult when there's an elephant in the room and people refuse to even admit that it's there. It's not as if there are bad things happening that people just want to talk about. When there's a major bad thing that afflicts everyone happening in the community and nobody is allowed to even admit this, you're dealing with a cult. You're dealing with a group of people that don't have the best interest at heart for you. They don't. This current this current world system, with its 9 to 5 structure through the corporate world, it drains you of your mental and physical strength, which will lead to sleep disturbances. And sleep disturbances will keep you in a cycle of exhaustion. That is what the world wants. That's what society wants. Society wants you to be exhausted all the time. Because when you're exhausted all the time, you won't be able to think clearly when they offer you fake solutions. Okay, I'm going to put someone in timeout because when I'm doing a live stream, I don't want any discussions about any other topic going on. I already told this individual to stop it. He won't stop, so he's on a timeout. Next time, he's blocked, or she, whoever it is. So, sleep deprivation. Anyone who intentionally disrupts your sleep, they just want you in an unhealthy condition so that they can have control over you. That's it. Why is it then that people don't want to admit that's what the corporate world is doing? That's what the school system is doing, or at least the public school system, that is the mainstream media is doing. Look at this. You have mainstream media always overwhelming you with bad news, which is already traumatizing. Then you have that you're threatened to have to go to work every day because if you don't work, you have no income. Without income, you get homeless. So you're under an existential threat of homelessness all the time, which is another layer of stress. And they also have those societal and sexual expectations of the crowd that don't add up. So from all sides, you are being overwhelmed with sorrow and stress. And then That same society that overwhelms you with sorrow and stress is offering you relief mechanisms, whether smoking, drinking, or you can do new age rituals, or you can go fornicate in brothels. So they keep you under a cycle of exhaustion. They keep you in a cycle of exhaustion, I mean, and then they want to offer you something to help you cope with the cycle of exhaustion they put you in. And because you don't realize that it's the society itself that puts you in a cycle of exhaustion, you won't realize that it's the same society offering you a relief mechanism to keep you in it. It's the same society that puts you in a cycle of exhaustion. That's the same society offering you those self-help gurus to help you cope what they're putting you through. That's how sadistic this world is. They put you in trouble and then they offer you relief from the trouble as if they are heroes. And if you don't accept their false help, they pretend like you're unthankful and ungrateful. The reason I'm talking about this in this live stream is because when people want to be delivered, they often face one thing. When people are about to have their breakthrough, there's often one thing that will intensify in their life. That is fatigue. I already explained that in the previous live stream, that fatigue will increase on you when you're nearing your breakthrough. So if people get more tired in general when approaching breakthrough due to psychic violence, now you know that any type of sleep deprivation is a type of psychological and physical abuse enacted on you. And don't you realize that when you're under existential threat on a daily basis of all you can become homeless or something bad can happen, that it itself is a trauma that you're operating in. So society traumatizes you to keep you available as a source of narcissistic supply. That's what society is doing. Why is people talking about critical mass again? Anyway, I don't know who he is or she is. I just move forward. Anytime, anytime anyone tells you that it's completely fine, you shouldn't think too much of it, just get along with stuff, those are the people. Those are the people that you need to watch out for. Why? In a cult, people, people that do not want to admit that they're being exploited, they'll be the ones making excuses for you. Well, actually, not only for you, but they will make excuses just to keep you in the same condition they're in. And look at this. When you begin to take time for yourself, to consider yourself, you sleep a bit more, you take more days off. When you put yourself first for a moment, I don't talk about putting yourself first above the Heavenly Father. I mean when you make yourself priority for once, instead of thinking about everyone else first. When you begin to think about yourself, you take some more sleep, you take more rest. Haven't you noticed that people sometimes come with accusations out of the blue? People say you're lazy, you don't want to contribute to society, you want to leech off other people. Folks come with many accusations and allegations the moment you prioritize yourself. Have you noticed that? Why is it that as an adult you're expected to put everyone else first? You have to put everyone else first. But when do people consider you? Anytime you prioritize yourself, which is natural, every creature should prioritize themselves. So why is it that when you, a human being, in daily life prioritize yourself, people get upset with you? I'm telling you why. Because when you prioritize yourself, you're going to realize how much advantage people have taken of you. When you prioritize yourself, now people have to be responsible and give an account to you for how they're treating you. And it's when you prioritize yourself, you realize, hold on a minute. Why is it that this thing called society keeps asking from me? I have to be polite, I have to be respectful, I have to have manners, I have to contribute by working, I have to work hard, I have to do this, that. Why do they expect so much from me? Yet when I ask something in return, they say I'm selfish, I'm not entitled to anything, I just have to work for what I want. Look, there's a difference between being a narcissistic asshole in the sense that you just want to get from other people. There's a difference between that and actually having self care. Sorry, I had to arrange something. So understand these things. Prioritizing yourself is a requirement to be healthy. Nobody can be healthy if they don't prioritize themselves. It's as simple as that. If you don't prioritize yourself, you end up dying very quickly. So, is it wrong for us to conclude that society wants you gone quickly after they're done using you? Because let's do the math for a moment. If people are not willing to accept you, to prioritize yourself, that means that they just want to take advantage of you and they just want you around as supply for them. As simple as that. So do not ever, ever ignore this. This is a serious warning signal that most people do not pay attention to. If you don't pay attention to this, then I'm sorry, but you're in a very bad situation. When you do not accept the reality of the world that you're living in, you end up chasing for wrong answers to the questions you have. And that is why learn from me. Learn from me. Anytime you're prioritizing yourself by taking time for yourself, taking relaxation for yourself, anytime you prioritize yourself, you will always experience people coming with accusations, allegations, or people coming up with drama. Either they will attack you personally by calling you all types of weird names, or they will call you and keep informing you about people talking about you, or they will keep calling and telling you about all types of drama that goes on. For example, let's say you just came from the hospital after having surgery, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to stay home for a few months just to recover. Suddenly, you have this nephew of yours who keeps calling you and telling you how people are talking bad about you behind your back. And every time your nephew calls you, he only talks about rumors about you or rumors about other people. Then one time you'd figure out, hold on a minute, is that the only thing my nephew has to talk about when he calls me? Now I'm telling you what's going on. Your nephew, your nephew is upset with you prioritizing yourself. So he wants to get you out of your rest because here's the thing, even worldlings understand. When you are at peace, when you are in rest, you're able to process things better. You're able to see things better. And when you're able to perceive things better, what's going to happen? What is going to happen when you're able to perceive things better? You're going to see people for who they really are. You're going to see what they put up with and what they force down your throat. So people don't want you to be able to figure them out. There's one thing about worldly people in general, especially the narcissists in the world. Not every worldling is a narcissist. I already explained it. But there's one about worldly people, especially narcissists, and that is they don't want to be exposed. So they want everyone in exhausted condition. So that is why anytime you take time for yourself, you prioritize yourself, expect the accusations to come, expect the disturbance to come, expect people to lose it. That is why whenever people will come with drama, or whenever people come with accusations, or they are upset and they just want to unload, I just block them, I just end the conversation, or I just hang up the phone. And by the way, if someone is calling me and my intuition gives me warning signals with a phone call, I won't even pick it up. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. And there's one thing you need to understand about worldly people. Worldly people prefer to have stupid drama escalating than to have to look in the mirror. That is why when I hear people making videos about me, I don't care. You know why? Because if there's something that needs to be addressed, you could have contacted me directly. Because I even show my email online. I even show my social media where you can find me and add me if you want. But no, people prefer to make videos with accusations instead of just talking to me directly. That shows you people just want attention by spreading negativity. I don't give into it. I don't. In the past, were people making videos against me, and they're all gone. Well, I've seen one guy is still up, and now another guy is doing it. I don't care. Why? Because I'm not going to even defend myself. Well, here's one thing you need to understand here. There's a difference between addressing something and and fighting against something. When you defend yourself, you're fighting against something. So you're in the fighting mode. In the fighting mode, you're already intoxicated with sorrow and with stress. You get me? I address the situation. I haven't seen the videos people made against me. I'm not going to watch it either. I don't care. Okay? The Heavenly Father is my defense. Christ is Lord. If they dare to escalate against a man of God doing the will of the Heavenly Father, they will face consequences. And that's not on me. Learn this from me. When you are in the rest, when you are taking time for yourself, people want you to fight them. They want you to be in them in their misery. So that's why I don't defend myself. I do not. I simply address when something's going on, but I won't go into it. When you do that, you will retain you will retain your peace, you will retain your ease, and they will keep their unrest. And here's another thing I want you to understand here. When you take time for yourself, when you prioritize yourself and your own well-being, and folks come to divert you away into their misery and to refuse to, they will go nuts. Yes, there will be people saying, hey, take time for yourself, man, you're doing the right thing. There will be people saying that. There will be sane people out there who will admit to you you're taking time for yourself, you prioritize yourself, that's good. But there also will be a lot of people who don't have much self-worth for themselves, so they especially don't want you to have any self-worth. You operating in self-worth, you operating in self-worth exposes their lack of self-worth. So they can't have you operate in self-worth. They got to get you out of your ease and peace so that you will participate in their misery. They want to be the ones that are relevant. This is a pattern you see everywhere in the world. Whenever things are going at ease, or things are easy, or things are unfolding for you, there will be some people out of the blue popping up with issues. Either they come with accusations against you personally, directly, or they will come with rumors or with other stuff just to drag you in some type of drama. This is what you need to understand. The world wants you to fight them because that makes them relevant. When you are at peace, at ease, and you're prioritizing yourself, that means you're not prioritizing them. And you not prioritizing them causes that hurts them. They feel rejected when you don't prioritize them above yourself. When you do not prioritize the crowd above yourself, they feel rejected. And when they feel rejected, they're going to blame you for the pain they feel, and they want to escalate on you for making them feel pain. But you did not cause them to feel any pain. They shouldn't be dependent on you prioritizing them to begin with. Lord have mercy. So, when you are prioritizing yourself, something you should do anyway, pay close attention to the people that just pop up after you begin to prioritize yourself. Everyone that pops up after you begin to prioritize yourself, watch out with those people. Watch out. Why are they popping up right now after you begin to prioritize yourself? Why, when you prioritize society, didn't they pop up in your life? You weren't interesting. But now that you are prioritizing yourself, suddenly they pop up. And you notice one thing. Every time they pop up, they will begin to talk to you. The beginning of the conversation will be fine. They ask, how are you? How are you? They talk about the fun topic. And before you know it, it turns into some bitter accusation, either against you or against someone else. It always goes like this. So you can see it coming. So when people pop up out of the blue and you get a bad feeling with this individual contacting you, then I'm not telling, unless Holy Spirit tells you to ignore them, you just examine them. But if God tells you to ignore them, you ignore them. You get me? What you need to understand is the following. When people pop up around you, when you're prioritizing yourself, this is because they have no ease. They have no peace and they have no inner stability. They have unrest. And they want to take out this unrest on you so that you don't have any rest. That's what they're doing. And look at this. A lot of people out there are upset with you because you prioritize your own safety and sanity above their unrest. I had a lot of people taking offense at me because I prioritize myself. Sometimes prioritize yourself is simply making plain you're not going to get along with weird expectations of the crowd. For example, when I felt bad, when things went bad with me in 2014, I didn't care about graduating college or graduating university. I didn't care about any of that. I just took the time I needed to recover. And people took offense because I prioritized my own well-being. People, even some people close to me, began to attack me and accuse me and escalate against me because I prioritized my own recovery instead of graduating from university. And there were some strangers who told me, Rashid, you recovering is more important than you graduating, getting that diploma, which is absolutely true. I agreed with them. But were other folks attacking me because I did not submit to the blackmail of society? I didn't care if people called me a loser, called me whatever. I prioritized my own well-being. So sometimes it's even something as simple as that. As simple as you withdrawing from activity to focus on your own recovery, on your own healing. That alone can trigger people. Indeed. Why would I prove myself towards people who are not willing to do anything for me if I end up in a hospital? And that's the sick thing about the world. The world expects you to prioritize them. Well, when you are crashing, they just run away. They don't want to deal with it. It's your problem. Or they tell you to go to some charity or to go to some church or whatever. No, when you are the one in need, they're nowhere to be found. But when things go well, they expect you to prioritize them. I choose to recover. I choose to be healthy. I choose to be safe. And if anyone has issues with that, then they are either a narcissist or they are in a very bad condition and they need therapy. Prioritize yourself can also be that you make plain to, for example, your older relatives, like your aunt or maybe your mother or father. You tell them, "Mom, Dad, I don't tolerate how you all talking to me. Just because you're older than me, or just because you're one of my parents, doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want and I have to take it. And you're going to use honor your mother and father from the Bible as an excuse for me to have to, for an excuse to continue your bad behavior. It can also be withdrawing from being involved with toxic people, whether it's your, even if it's for relatives. That's also prioritizing yourself. When you do that, in some communities, when you withdraw yourself from being involved with your parents or any toxic relative, people will turn on you. They will say things as, yes, he's an asshole. He shouldn't be verbally abusing you, but hey, he's still your father. Oh, you say, oh, okay, but you only have one mother. What if she dies tomorrow? Then then what if she dies tomorrow and you were in conflict with one another? On the other hand, what if you die tomorrow? What if their abuse takes a toll on you and you end up dying tomorrow? Do they ever think about that? No, they don't. It's only one-way street. You need to consider them, but they don't have to consider you. When you withdraw yourself from such people, especially their relatives, you get a lot of backlash. Mhm. So that is why I'm informing you. Prioritize yourself. Sometimes that uh, you're not aware that you're being exploited. Often you're not aware you're exploited. That's why when people tell you take care of yourself, that means because they notice something you don't. Look, I don't care what it is you want to achieve, whether it's a degree at college or whether it's another job or some relationship. You matter. Your well-being matters. Your well-being, your recovery, and your wholeness matters. Yes, you should be concerned with other people. Yes, you should prioritize other people, but other people should prioritize you too. If people only expect you to prioritize them, but they say that they have no obligation to prioritize you, I'm sorry, but you're dealing with narcissistic people. And it goes very far. A lot of people out there are putting themselves at risk by losing sleep, by losing their mind over a job that can replace them anytime. Listen, when you fall down and die of exhaustion, your employer will hire someone within a week to replace you because you're dead. You can't work anymore. So he'll just find a replacement within a week. Yet you were sacrificing your whole well being just to keep that job. Are you kidding me? I'm not saying you should disregard your work. If you're working somewhere, you do your work well. But don't go so far that you are going to put the work you do above your own well being. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But that's what a lot of people do. If you fall down of exhaustion and die today, they cannot resurrect you. It's over. Okay? Or if you end up disabled due to an accident at work, they can't heal you. So why is it society wants to put you in a condition where you almost have no options? That's what society does. Society tricks you into a condition where you almost have no options. Then to surrender to some exploitation, either by a corporation or by some cult or some other group. Listen, if you don't come to work 1 or 2 days, they tell you don't have to come anymore, you're fired. Okay? But if you go to work every day for 30 years long, and one day you can't work anymore due to an accident or whatever, they're going to replace you. You have to go on welfare or find relatives to take care of you. They're done with you. I'm not sacrificing my sanity nor my long term well being for any job. I won't do it. I don't care what people call me. I do work. I'm a freelancer and I'm an entrepreneur. And sometimes I do take jobs for a short time, temporary jobs. I do that. But that's what I do. I work when necessary to get something done, whether it's paying rent or saving some cash for some investment. That's what I do. But I'm not going to uh, pledge myself to a pattern of exhaustion just to keep the masses happy. I won't do that. Yeah, but Rashid, if you don't do that, you won't be able to purchase a house. You'll have bad credit. You'll this and this. I'm not afraid of any of that. Society programs all of us to be afraid of being discarded. That is what motivates people to tolerate all the abuse of society. They're afraid to be discarded. Because look, when you are discarded and nobody wants to deal with you, you'll end up dying of hunger or thirst, homeless. So nobody wants to be discarded. So to prevent being discarded, they want to be relevant to other people. And now you have to be relevant on other people's terms. And other people's terms are always going to be at your own expense. Why not just see into the situation what it is? Trust Heavenly Father and follow His guidance on how to get better. Why not just do that? You have to be practical and flexible in life. I'm telling you as it is. Society does not want you to be at ease nor at peace. No, they want you to be exhausted and desperate for their pat on your back. That's what they want. The moment you prioritize yourself and you recover, you'll see how quickly they try to re-victimize you. You'll see how many people will just block you, unfriend you, and just plainly avoid you. And there's the thing, in life, you can negotiate things with people. But haven't you noticed you can't negotiate with society? When society tells you you need to pay taxes, it's the people behind closed doors that decide how much taxes you have to pay. They don't even negotiate with you based on your individual situation. Maybe you don't have any income right now, or maybe you do have an income, but you have a sudden need. They don't even consider you as an individual. They just ask something from you, and it has to be on their terms. And if you don't submit to their terms, they feel entitled to harm you. Why is that? Thanks for the super sticker, Suzanne. Very much appreciated. Why can't you negotiate with society? How your life will be? No. Society wants to decide how your life will be, how you will operate, how your life will end. So, anytime you're not allowed to negotiate, I'm telling this when it comes to other people. I'm not saying when it comes to the Heavenly Father. Why would you negotiate with the Heavenly Father? He knows everything. Apart from the Heavenly Father, you should be able to negotiate with someone. The Heavenly Father does do negotiation because he has all the answers. He knows best. But others don't. Others are not the Heavenly Father. So outside of the Heavenly Father, you should be able to negotiate with someone. People should be able to be flexible and practical with you. The moment someone comes with a static attitude and you don't give into it, then you need to watch out. Now, there's a difference between someone making clear that they're not into error and they're firm about it. That's different than someone just being stuck up and saying, I just don't want to deal with anything. And here's the thing, most people are never taught to negotiate with society. You do know that you can negotiate your salary, right? When you're about to get a job. When you're about to get a job and you get the contract, you're entitled to negotiate about the salary because you'll be the one working. But many people are never told they can negotiate about the salary. Maybe they want to pay you 11 euros an hour, but you tell them based on my experience and my age and based on the amount of risk I will be taking in this job, I expect to be paid 15 euros an hour. You're I'm not saying that they will agree with it, but a lot of people, because they are in the need for income, they just get along with it because they're afraid that if they begin to negotiate, people say, okay, there are 200 other candidates waiting, to choose another one. Now, in fact, if you're really in need for an income, then it's wise to just take it as they offer to you. But that should only happen when you're in a desperate need for an income. You shouldn't be in a desperate need for income anyway. But if you end up in a desperate need for income, okay, then you just take the salary they offer you. Apart from that, you can negotiate for a salary. It's not about having father having control. Having father knows everything and he has no bad intentions. Having father cannot uh, uh, be corrupted. So negotiation with having father doesn't come into play. He knows what's best. But your fellow human beings, they don't know what's best. They're vulnerable creatures just like you. So why would you not be able to negotiate with vulnerable creatures just like you? Saints, don't let folks deceive you. Don't. That is why I preach safety, I preach sexual health, and now I'm preaching economic relevancy on the channel because I want you all to slowly but surely escape this Babylonian trap of society. Aaron, thank you for your super sticker. It's very much appreciated. That's why I keep my live stream short. In the past, I used to have 3 hour long live streams, but then I realized, this ain't right. That's why I keep my live stream short, 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. Now I'm keeping around 1 hour. Sometimes there's a live stream that takes a bit longer because a lot I need to cover with you. But in general, I keep my live stream short because I want you to be able to process what I'm teaching you. I'm not going to overwhelm you with data and exhaust you. No. But what does society do? Society throws all types of data at you without the context to overwhelm you with data. And you just have to figure it out yourself. They will say, we gave you the information, it's up to you how you to get it. Me, I take responsibility for how I deliver information to you. That's why I do 1 hour live streams, which are beneficial. Ismir, what you're saying doesn't add up. God using us is Him involving us in His glory. It's not Him taking advantage of us. And I get what you're saying now. He doesn't need our help. Well, actually, He made Himself vulnerable to us. So in that case, He does need us because He made Himself vulnerable. The Heavenly Father wants to use you for you to participate in His glory. When the world uses you, that's something you need to watch out for. Because the world needs you to drain you, yet they pretend like you're irrelevant. The Heavenly Father informs you that you're relevant. Just look at this. The Heavenly Father informs you that you're relevant. The world denies your relevancy. See this. The world, or you can call it society, denies your relevancy. They want you to feel like you don't matter so that you will be dependent on them giving you some significance. The Heavenly Father says, you are significant because I designed you, so you are significant. And the Heavenly Father deals with you according to your significance. So the Heavenly Father operates in trust and value towards you. Society operates in fear and violence. They're afraid of you waking up and use violence to keep you exhausted. Okay, I think I misunderstood Ismir's statement. My apologies, but okay. I hope it's clear what I've just explained here. Look, Christ is Lord. That means you should rely on Him first. When people don't rely on the Heavenly Father, they need something to rely on. And the things they have to rely on are not stable. So to cover up this stability, they need an outlet. But you wouldn't need an outlet for pollution if you would rely on the Heavenly Father directly. So know what you're dealing with. Stop fighting society. Stop fighting evildoers. Stop explaining yourself to narcissists. It will never work. Realize what you're dealing with and deal with it in a practical way so that you don't have to be around their pollution. Again, prioritize yourself. And I told every one of you, I opened a donation pool for those who want to donate. But I already told you, if you donate to me, I want you to first invest in yourself too. I want you to invest in yourself, and then when you want, you can donate something to me if you want. Okay? Donation is free, voluntarily. But I still want you to also invest in yourself. And this thing with those churches, the church expects you to pay tithes and offerings. They expect you to pay tithes and offerings, but they never tell you to invest in yourself. Those pagan churches demand you to pay tithes and offerings as a form of loyalty, but they never tell you invest in yourself. I want you to invest in yourself, and then while you invest in yourself, then if you want, you can donate a little bit to Ari Does It. I'm not going to tell you donate to me without you doing anything for yourself. I want you to invest in yourself. And this is how you recognize a con artist. When someone expects you to prioritize them above your own well being, get out of there. Listen what I'm saying. When someone expects you to prioritize them above your own well being, get out of there. And by the way, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. It's an expression that simply means just just tolerate this crap that they expect from you just to de escalate the situation. This is what Christ was saying. Christ never justified Caesar taxing the world. But Christ said, if you go and resist the taxes, you will cause a lot of unnecessary trouble. So tolerate it while you continue to do God's will. And another thing I want you to understand here: society wants you to prioritize the crowd above yourself. When things go well with the crowd, you don't hear from them anymore. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that people that expect you to prioritize them above yourself, when things go well with them, afterwards they never talk to you anymore? They completely forget about you. Ninja Viking, I explained the whole situation of taxes in other live streams. Please watch it so that you can have a better understanding about the matter. Just understand that when you prioritize yourself, it shuts the door to narcissistic abuse. You don't need boundaries, you don't need self respect, nor self defense, or any of that. Just prioritize yourself. When you prioritize yourself and you're consistent in prioritizing yourself, when you prioritize your own well being, that shuts the door to narcissistic abuse right over there. Society expects you to pay taxes, but they never make it mandatory for you to do some self-investment. Why is that? So they demand investment from you, investment they don't need because they're the ones printing the money anyway. They're the ones printing the money, yet expect you to pay tribute for money they've printed, which is quite weird. That's already symbolic to show you that society is a narcissistic construct. Christ, oh, oh Lord, this is what Christ did so well. When Christ selected his disciples, there's one thing you can notice about the disciples he selected. Christ had more than 12 disciples. He had around 70 disciples. Actually, he had a little bit more than 70 disciples. A lot of them walked away. But every disciple Christ picked was someone who was prioritizing themselves. All of the disciples that Christ selected prioritized themselves. And the 12 that remained with Christ, of which one betrayed him, Judas, they all prioritized themselves, and everything Christ told them, they put it in practice for themselves first. So hold on a minute. When Christ built his ministry, he did not build his ministry around people who were obsessed with society's approval. He didn't. Simon, whom Christ renamed Peter, Simon had a temper. Simon was a fisherman, but he carried swords with him, just in case. You know how weird that looks? A fisherman carrying swords? People think, oh, that guy is crazy. No. Judea, where those people lived, was a dangerous place. You had a lot of weirdos going around attacking people. You had a lot of veterans from the Roman military killing people also. So Peter knew the type of dangerous environment was in. That's why Peter was killed in carrying swords while he was fishing. He didn't care if society would be upset with him. He prioritized his own safety. And Christ chose this man, Simon, to be one of his main disciples. And it was this Simon, renamed Peter, that became the first pastor of the first congregation after Christ was resurrected. Let's think about Matthew. I believe, yeah, it was Matthew, I believe, was a tax collector. Now, tax collectors were doing quite dirty things back then. But this man, when he began to follow Christ, he went all the way. He used all the money he extorted from other people, he used for Christ's ministry. Look at all the apostles. They all prioritize themselves. So listen to what Christ is telling you. Why do you keep hanging around? Why do you keep involving yourself with people who don't prioritize themselves? If they don't even care about their own well-being, how can they care about yours? Oh, there's something you need to hear. If people don't prioritize their own well-being, if they don't even care about their own well-being, because they don't prioritize their own well-being, how can they ever be concerned with you? They cannot. So that is why Christ was very selective of the people he involved himself with. And let me warn you about one thing. Because, just like Ong is saying here, because those disciples prioritized themselves, they were able to follow Christ effectively. When you don't prioritize yourself, you can't think clearly. And if you can't think clearly, you can't understand God's will for your life. You're dealing with a world where people don't prioritize themselves, but they keep begging for the approval of the crowds. And when they don't get approval, they lose their mind on those around them. That's the type of world you're living in. Look, prioritizing yourself is not being a narcissistic jerk. Prioritizing yourself is not saying no to everyone all the time. Prioritize yourself simply means you consider your own well-being and your own sanity on the long run. That's thing what prioritizing yourself is. And that's one thing a lot of people in this world simply don't do. They rely so much on the pat on the back from the employer or from the relatives. They're even willing to exhaust themselves at a job just to keep other people happy and to get a pat on the back from other people. Okay, listen to what I'm saying here. If you have to be lazy for a few months just to save your sanity or to save your physical health, then you become lazy for a little while. If you have to stay away from social events for a little while just to process something from your past, stay away from social events for a while so that you can process things. And here's the thing. That shows you that people in this world, they have low to zero self-worth. How do they expect you to love them if you can't even have love towards yourself? The world expects you to love them while they don't even allow you to have love for yourself. The world doesn't allow you to have love for yourself, yet expects you to love them. What? Hold on. The world expects you to look after them, but they don't allow you to look after yourself. And this thing, the world doesn't want to even look after you for you. So they don't want to look after you, and they don't allow you to look after yourself, but expect you to look after them. What? Hold on a minute. You're not allowed to have love for yourself, but you have to give all the love towards them, and you're left behind dying. What is that? That shows you how backwards the thinking of fallen mankind is. You cannot be loving to other people if you are neglecting yourself. You can't be loving towards anyone if you're in self-neglect. Yet the world teaches you to neglect yourself. Hey, Chuba, thank you very much for your super chat donation. It's very much appreciated. Look, Christ sacrificed himself, and Christ reversed what was done to him on our behalf. So Christ is the one that they need to rely on, not you. Who are you that they expect you to sacrifice yourself for them? Now, don't get things twisted. People can expect investment from you. If you are married, your spouse can expect you to spend some time with them instead of spending all the time with your friends or all the time watching TV. Okay, so that you give up something for someone else, there's nothing wrong with that. People can expect you to make some investment in the community. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with people expecting tribute from you. People or the community can expect tribute from you. That's natural. But they shouldn't expect you to die on their behalf. The community can expect tribute from you, but you can only give tribute when you are alive. You have to be alive and well to give tribute, remember? You can't give tribute if you are sick and dying. You can't give tribute, nor can you contribute to the community if you're sick and dying. Yet the community expects you to keep contributing even while you're sick and dying. That's crazy. Christ is the source. So they should expect free power from Christ. They can expect tribute from you, but they should get their power from Christ, not from you. They can't get power out of you because you don't have power to give. Christ is the Almighty One who has all the power. So you should rely on Him for power. Oh, Christ doesn't give them power because Christ knows that they're not trustworthy. And that's why they want to drain you instead of getting power from Christ. Alicia, thank you very much for the super sticker. Thank you very much. All right. The live stream's been over an hour. I don't want to make it too long. I hope this is clear to you. Prioritize yourself as the Heavenly Father expects you to do. I'm not telling you to be antisocial. I'm not telling you to avoid other people or to use excuses just to get away from social responsibilities. I'm telling you, prioritize yourself as you should do naturally. Anyway, I'm going to give you time now to ask questions. I'm going to wait 2 minutes to see if I get any questions. If I don't get any questions within 2 minutes, I'm going to close on the live stream. Thank you for listening. And please prioritize yourself. If I need to say it often in the live streams in the future, I will do that. Prioritize yourself. You matter too. All right, I'll wait to see if I get any questions. I'll wait 1 more minute. I'm not sounding angry at all. I'm just being excited over here. Mm-hmm. All right. Are there any other questions? All right. There are no other questions here. I'm going to shut down the live. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. And remember, keep agreeing with Christ. Be at peace.